welcome everybody to Roll for Damage and to the third episode of Ardenquest. It's been a very fun three-part series using the quest system in my homebrew world of Arden with these fine and fabulous people. Tonight is the finale, though, so whatever happens tonight is the end for now. So we're gonna go around and introduce our fine cast, and then we'll get started right away. So why don't we start with Kelsey?
That's me. Hi, I'm Kelsey. I'm also Roguzu on Twitter and YouTube, where I draw things and where I tell the story of the first game that I ever DM'd. And I'm going to be here playing Elowen. So, yeah.
Excellent. All right, why don't we go to Josh next, our lovely tech.
Hi everybody, I'm Josh the Pirate. You can find me on Roll for Damage, where I play, I'm the DM of the Humblewood, and I'm also the tech of the Saturday morning shows, which starting up again in a couple of weeks' time will be, what's the name of it? TSA. Scales Above will be back in a couple of weeks, but until then, I am here playing Freya Mercia, rather. That's the word. And yeah, if you like more of my face and voice, you can check me out on my own channel, Corsair's Cove, where I DM another game of Humblewood, and a podcast, There Be Dragons, where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Skern Felspar und his little dragon, Rosh. Links in chat.
Thank you. All right, and why don't we go to Kevin next?
Hello, I'm Kevin from Dirty 20 Gaming. We stream Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. 2 nights it's me, and wonderfully, marvelously, happily, I am able to say now 1 night a week it is somebody else in the big chair running a game for other people. I just produce it. It is so wonderful to watch, and they've had a huge amount of success with it, and I could not possibly be happier. So that is our schedule, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over on Dirty 20.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Pardon me, Dirty 20 Gaming. You have to get it all there or you won't find the right one. Thank you.
All right, and next we have the lovely Shannon.
That's me. We're totally not sitting next to each other right now.
I may or may not be visiting Shannon, and there may or may not only be one viable computer in the house.
I can see my shoulder. It's we're gonna make it work. Hi everybody, I'm Shannon. So nice to have you all here tonight. I am from Paradise RPG along with this goober, and we are turning 2 on Monday. We are going to be 2 years old on Monday, and it's our 100th episode of Advantage in Paradise. So big giveaways happening, big celebrations. We would love to have you there. As for me, I will be playing Astrid Millwell this evening, and she's a little spunky, she's a little brat, and she wears a witch hat, but there's no room for the witch hat here tonight, so we're just gonna imagine the witch hat.
Yes, Shannon and I are turning 2 on Monday. That's right.
Yep, you heard correct.
Yes, not our channel, us. We are turning 2. We were born in tanks 2 years ago, exactly as you see us today.
Even the jacket.
Even the jacket.
Well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And last but never least is Waffles.
That's me. I'm Waffles from Wafflesmaplesyrup, the GM over there. We run Journeys Adrift, which is a Starfinder campaign every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. My big plug for the night is keep your eyes out Monday on our Twitter. We're going to have a huge announcement coming up for the channel.
Ooh, exciting. And I am Sean of Paradise, as Shannon said. I am the guide for this evening's game, and I also play Oryx Laris on the Scales Above on this typical slot on Fridays, and I'm the DM over at Paradise, and generally Mr. Paradise himself over there. But why don't we get a recap going for what happened last week, who our lovely Josh has volunteered to give us, with
Josh.
Some interruptions.
Ooh.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes, you're welcome. It should be Shannon, really. Let's be honest, but there we go. Last week we had just found the contact that we had been sent to look for, Oscar. Oscar is a corgi, as it turns out, a girl corgi, no less. A girl corgi in adorable booties and a raincoat now, but we'll get to that. An adorable corgi with like a voice box, like a robotic voice box that produces a really quite a cute voice. And she's got a big old friend, a big old mountain man called Red. And I had a question for that, but we'll get to that in a minute because Sean occasionally misnamed Red as Oscar. And I'm like, ooh, that's suspicious. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, because Oscar is a boy's name. But there we go. So yeah, they took us to their hide in through the Carnival of Horrors that was the broken down place that they lived in, and we had a super chilled out session in there. I would say Terrence was a little bit too investigative. Got up in people's George Foreman's a bit too much, a bit up in their grills. Particularly Red's. We discovered loves to carve little wooden animals. Kelsey got Elowin got a whole bunch of penguins from him. I may or may not have acquired a not quite finished elephant. Then we had dinner. We had an experience in the rain. We all had like a bonding moment in the rain together. Astrid made Oscar some booties and a raincoat out of discarded circus equipment. Zazix had a lovely moment where he realized he could feel the water, or he told us he could feel the water on his gem and nowhere else, which is fair. Bones don't have feelings. We were just nodding off into a wine-induced slumber when Freya, who had sort of self-appointed herself lookout because she was tired of people, was looking out and thought, cool, laser pointers. Oh, wait, that could be something else. And we determined that there was a squad of Virian Corps coming in to get us, or at least we assumed to get us. And we were like, oh, okay, well, we could probably take 6 of them, right? But then there was an awful lot more. There was a glitter bomb that distracted them, and then there was a a really, really clever plan where a holographic sort of decoy double was sent out of Elowin, and then doubled that, so 2 of them ran away, buying us a few minutes, and Astrid completely undermined that plan by staying behind. This is what happens when you let me do the recap, and getting herself immediately caught. Like, if you're basing all of it on a straight up 50-50 chance.
Okay, we get it. Move on.
So, but then possibly because of our shared experiences in the rain, we were like, we should stay and help. So Terrence did a really cool teleport in and was like, I'm going to save her. And she noped that idea. And then so we went and basically were forced to murder people. Thanks, Astrid. We could have done it non-lethally, but no. So it was much better this way. Freya killed someone with a car door. Terrence killed somebody with the suggestion that there might be a missile coming towards them, and that ended up with a lot of people killed. And Elowin did a really cool thing where she turned herself into Oscar the puppy, because it turns out that's who they were looking for. They wanted the dog, which is fair. I would like a super smart corgi as well myself, like a corgi that talks to me. Heck yeah. And led them back into the forest inhabited by the toads, the Omni Toad, which was such a cool idea. Basically, it's a bunch of toads, but it's just one toad, and they're psychically linked. And they're all dead now. Thanks, Elowin. And then she got there. She was like, "Okay, now I'm turning into a toad to hide." It was like a good idea until they start murdering the toads. Yeah, cool. And Zazix did before the whole pursuit thing. Zazix did a ritual on Oscar to try and restore her, and that might have actually been what precipitated everything, because it really messed her up. But at the same time, Oscar still can talk a bit, so that's good. So we haven't necessarily made Oscar a dog. And I think Astrid managed to secure us a getaway vehicle, and we are currently in I'm imagining it's DeLorean without a roof.
Funny enough, I was also imagining a DeLorean without a roof. with no explanation of the car other than that it was a convertible. That is also what I had in mind.
And it looked so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
It wasn't working until Astrid spent, in D&D terms, 6 seconds on it. Yeah.
I'm a fucking engineer.
There you go. That, I think, is most of what happened last week.
It's very good.
That was actually really
That's
good. I'm
way
pretty sure
better
that's
than I would've
everything.
done, yeah.
Oh yeah, much better than you would have done.
Okay, you couldn't have said that fast.
Wow. Gosh.
This is not gonna go well.
It's not a good idea to have them sitting next to each other.
I
for a
might be
stream.
harmed tonight,
Yeah.
folks. If I roll
can't
like
see
a
her
crit on
hands.
her at some point, he's going to punch me in the face.
Is it too late to find a separator? Or just-
The problem is, yeah, she can see what he's
All right.
rolling.
We should have put the green screen between us.
Sit in your corners.
Yes, we're gonna have to.
They're 2 years
Put
old. They
ourselves
need to be
in timeout.
separated.
It's true. We are only 2 years old now.
Yeah, that's true. Not yet.
Or on Monday we're 2.
Monday we're 2.
All right. Thank you, Josh, for that very good recap. So yes, you are now driving through the abandoned, overgrown streets that once made up whatever town or city was here in the no-go now. It is truthfully a convertible might have been a poor choice given the fact that it is still raining heavily. Also gunfire,
Didn't
but
have time. Okay.
Cinematic.
It's the
That's
first
just
one
really
there.
cinematic.
Yeah. I wanted a convertible. I think we actually talked about that last
We
week.
did.
Yeah.
I don't disagree because like it's only one car. There's like 7 of us, so we're probably going to have to be sitting on laps and so forth. I'm wearing
driving, so
I'm
no
wearing
one's
a
on my
corpse as a scarf. And I'm imagining the legs are sort of flopping behind in the breeze.
oh goodness, that's so grisly.
You were the one who described them concertinaing.
That's true. I did just say exactly that. Love it. Excellent. Okay. So you are in this car. You are speeding through the streets. Legs flowing behind. Red is holding on to Oscar, who is currently still kind of in that in between state, struggling with some bad puppy dreams, puppy nightmares. But in this temporary reprieve, because you are driving as fast as you can, not looking back occasionally, and you feel not that you can stop, but at the very least that you have found a safe distance from the Virian Corps that were pursuing you. There was one of the transports was destroyed, but if you recall, based on the experience, there was at least one other that was still up. So that's something to keep in mind as you are traveling across this landscape. What would you like to do?
Elowin's not with us, is she?
That's right. Elowin is not with you. She is heading in the direction, but obviously going much slower than you all. As I forgot what you turned into to get through. Oh, you were still the frog, so going very slow. But
I thought you splat on the windshield.
That's
splat soon.
That's one thing that we did forget is that at the very end, Elowin did witness a metal man show up in the surviving transport flying vessel. There's a tall, well-dressed man who stepped out in a floral suit, much like the one I'm wearing, who had most of his body was replaced with metal parts. He looked more like an android, a robot, than a man. But Elowin could at the very least see that his eyes were still humanoid in nature. And he was cursing and firing guns into the distance and yelling at his own soldiers about letting the doggo escape. But yes, Elowin is catching up, so you may want to pull over and wait for her, or let her frog about until it's safe. But that's up to you all.
I'm driving until somebody tells me to stop.
Stop.
Slam on the brake. Yeah.
But a corpse goes flying. The problem with this vehicle is that there are not enough restraints. We need to wait for Elwyn.
Is she far behind?
We waited for you.
Well,
We
look.
should wait for Elwyn. I am looking.
I look.
Would probably be a good idea if we left the car behind too. They're gonna be looking for it. There's not a lot of them moving around, are there?
No, there would be no other cars driving around those parts.
Is there any sign of, I'm assuming there's going to be pursuit. Is there any, can anyone see us?
Currently, you are, like, these roads are somewhat overgrown. Like, they've been actually quite difficult to navigate. So you probably weren't able to go full speed because you had to move around other abandoned vehicles, fallen things. The tree canopy is of a sort where if they pinpointed you, they could follow you, but like they have to shine the light in the right way through the treetops to see you. So you have a little bit of cover, not fully covered, but there's a little bit of safety there.
In that case, I retract what I just said. We got that. We got a bit of cover. That's good. Stay in the car. Let's go.
So we keep going, right? Or no, we wait for it. We're waiting for
No,
Elwyn.
we're waiting for the one who went away. One stayed and one went away. Almost nobody ran.
Elwyn, as you're fleeing the Jester's Common, following the road, you would notice that it looks like it's going to take a little while for the Virion Corps to remobilize. They need to, re-pull together. They need to ensure their everything's accounted for. They're probably going to do a comb over of this place as well again. So there doesn't seem to be like ground units that are chasing after you, but it would be safe to assume that fairly soon the transport ship is probably going to start searching from the skies.
Okay. Since there's no ground people, I'll like revert back to my normal self so then I can have the speed of my legs
Instead of your hops.
Instead of my hops. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just start running around trying to find my friends.
Yeah. I'd say it's safe to know what direction they headed in, so you can start trying to catch up with them. Okay. It would probably take a little bit for you guys to rejoin. I'd say at least a half hour before Elwyn would be able to catch up with you all. So would you like to kind of just park the car on the side of the road and wait, try to blend it in with the other ruined landscape?
I would suggest leaving the vehicle like they would have a vague idea of what it looked like, so ditch it and then make a head away from it. Frere would be wanting to circle back undercover, like in the forest or something, not in the streets, but would potentially suggest leaving the others and go herself on the super quiet
to find Elwyn.
Find Elwyn, yeah.
I'd say if you do that, that'll definitely shave time off of the reunion, which would be very helpful in this moment. So, yeah, if everyone's cool with that, you can definitely sit back. So
Freya would actually turn to Red and say, "Do you have a second hide-in?"
You see, Red has been comforting Oscar, and you can see this is one of the few times that Red uses the voice box that he has. Yes, we have to. We can go to Hecate. She can protect us. She might be able to help Oscar.
Cool. Have we heard the name Hecate before? It's not the lady who had the witch's hat.
Nope, that's Hela.
All right. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So I'd say the only person who might know who Hecate is maybe Terrence, because he's from around here and he's been here long. So Terrence, if you want to give me a quick D20 roll.
Let's see what the third generation cop gets me. Natural 20.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
That makes
You've
sense.
heard-
My great granddad told me this.
Yeah, absolutely. Your great granddad told you this, and you would have known that it's someone. Hecate is a person of interest with the city's Corvault and Lacuna Reef, because she is rumored to be, or the stories say that she is like a pre-calamity extraplanar being that's still around. That she is a fae creature that is still around. That people keep a close eye on any activity because she lives in the no-no-go and is one of the only few people that are actually known to live in the no-no-go. And generally is just, she's viewed skeptically, almost in a way of like, is she actually a powerful creature, or is she just someone who's spreading stories? What is her persuasion on society and people, and is she someone who's dangerous? But no one's encountered her necessarily. There's not a lot of firsthand accounts of her in the cities.
Fair enough. Right now, I don't think Terrence would share that information.
Okay.
Sure. Then Freya would nod and go, "Great, I'll be back with Elowen."
Okay. So, as Freyr backtracks to catch up with Elowen to bring her back, I'd say it's fairly easy to catch up with one another, especially if Elowen is trying to stay close to the road. I'd say from the forest line, you would be able to easily, especially with her not being a frog in herself, you would see her kind of, I imagine, keeping to the side of the road. And you two can meet halfway.
I also
Yeah.
would have presented the corpse to Zazix.
Isaac will take it, struggle to carry it, and go hide with the others for now. Not do anything with it.
Okay. Excellent.
Like, you
So,
wanted
yeah, so
this.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Excellent. Frere, I'd say you're traveling through the woods, and you would.
Oh, actually, sorry, I just had a really good idea.
Cool.
I would like to take the armor off the body
Oh, okay, yeah.
and attempt to disguise myself as a member of the Virian Corps.
Very nice. Very good, actually. So yeah,
So
so if you do that, you can walk more freely and
Yeah.
and catch up to her much quicker.
Yeah. And I think I would go like, but if she sees me, she'll go, that's someone I need to hide from. So I'm gonna carry my spear still.
Okay, cool. I was just gonna say, do you have anything to clearly present yourself? Otherwise, I was gonna say, Elowen, you see a Virian Corps coming down the street.
Yeah.
It's okay, because I actually remembered something that I have that Elowen is probably going to just be madly dooting on, because she has a little flute that only her friends can hear. So she's just like...
It's adorable. A friend
see-
whistle.
You see a Virian Corps walking down the street holding a spear and occasionally going, what is that?
Wait, dude.
Ah. Ah. And you hear this muffled voice come out of the helmet. There you are.
I don't know who you are, but
I
I
take
know
it
that
off.
you're a friend.
Yeah. Before I take the helmet off, you hear someone who loves you, and then
Adorable.
and then Star Wars reference, takes the helmet off, and sort of flicks the orange hair, and it's Freya. I was worried. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Why are
Come.
you dressed like that?
Because if anybody else saw me, I also body armor.
Okay, that's smart. Is everyone else okay?
Yes. There is a slight hesitation, but yes.
Okay. Well, we should get to them then.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to find me.
Thank you for leading them away.
I just take Farrah's hand and I just run with her.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the two of you double back. You wouldn't necessarily know this inherently, Frere, but for future purposes, mechanic-wise, the Virion core armor, if you do keep it on, does have mechanically resistance to solar weapons.
I probably, like, even without knowing that, she probably would have kept it on for at least the next little while. Yeah. That's sick.
Okay. So you double back. The rest of you kind of are hanging out for close to a half hour, waiting for them. If there's anything that you'd like to do during that time.
Terrence would go over to Red, pull out the tablet, do the complicated procedure to open it up, and then type in, "Have you met Hecate?" Hand it over.
You see, he's just kind of like, there's several other like kind of burnt out cars there, and he's kind of hiding in one of them, and just you see he's like squeezed in there really tight, and he just like has like in the middle of the mass of him is just this little bundle of fur that is Oscar. He'll take the tablet and type into it. Yes, I have worked for her in the past.
I can type. I don't know why I'm typing. I don't have to. I can talk. It seems more appropriate. I type back into it. It actually keeps it. It actually keeps it private. Actually, never mind now that I think about it. I type back, "How is?" And I back up, "How are they?" Question mark. Dog emoji. Hand it over.
Love the emoji. He types in, they're afraid, but Hecate will know what to do.
So the rumors are true?
You see Red hesitates at this. And then you see him kind of like look to each, he looks over and sees Astrid and looks at Zazix and kind of back to you, and almost like he's analyzing everything that's happened in the last 10 hours. And he writes back, "More than you know."
And again, very pointedly, I delete the entire conversation letter by letter and see that I've canceled it before I shut off the tablet.
He nods back respectfully.
Reach in very gently and slowly. I give them every opportunity to stop me, but just reach in and give Oscar a scritch. And then
You definitely notice Red. You definitely notice Red tenses as you go in, but lets you.
And I stop and yeah, okay. And I go find a place to hide.
Absolutely. It would be some time before you all would notice coming down the road is Frere and Eloin to reunite. Frere and Eloin, I'd say about, right before you're about to reach where the car's hidden, maybe like 100 feet away, 100 yards away, actually, you would hear faintly in the distance the sounds of the propellers of the transport ship. It's definitely distant, but it's at the very least, it is present.
Cool. I'll share that when we get where we're going.
Yeah.
get high.
Easy enough. You all are reunited.
And Freya would also... She would check to make sure Astrid is okay.
Yes, Astrid's. I am just like fiddling with like, just something that I pulled out of my pocket, just like a fidget, so that my hands are doing something, and just kind of like looking around and just kind of impatient, ready to keep moving.
Yeah.
Freya would. Where would you be in a car or you just sitting?
I think I would be sitting against a car, not like hiding, but like sitting against it.
Sure. Freya would sit down next to you. In fact, no, would lean against something opposite and say, Astrid, you are free to not answer this, but I would appreciate knowing, what did you seek to gain by staying?
I look down at the fidget in my hand, and it's a little bit before she answers, or I answer, and I'll say, it was a dumb move. I was hoping to hear something about their plans and maybe try to outsmart them. But it was stupid. It didn't work.
Freya would not. Freya, Josh is wondering if Astrid is being deceitful, but Freya wouldn't. Freya would take you at your word and smile and say, I understand. Are you okay? Your injuries.
Oh, yeah. Is my hand broken?
Oh yeah, your hand is broken.
Oh, great. Well, then I wouldn't be playing with the fish.
You would be with your other hand. I forgot that she stomped on your hand.
On my hand. Yep.
So yeah, your fingers, your fingers are broken. Your hand is like
Could it be
almost.
my right hand?
Yeah, it could be your right hand.
Okay. So I, backtracking a little bit, was playing with the fidget to distract from the fact that my right hand is broken. So as you mention it, I'll squeeze the say it's like a little gear, and hard, and just say, it's nothing I have not endured before. It will be fine.
Maybe the doctor could help.
Is
I
it
believe
doctor?
that is what they are for.
I think you're right. Doctor. I'll go find.
If you are finished
Yes.
with your corpse, there is a living one that needs assistance.
This is me. I am the living one.
You see, like, he's been kind of staring at the corpse, and the gem on his head is kind of dimming in and out, as if, like, a light that's low on power or something. And he kind of looks up at Astrid and says, well, I can help, or we can try to get information out of this body.
Do that. I'll deal with this, and I'll go find. I'll try and find something to like make myself a splint.
Okay. And as she's trying to find, I think Doctor is going to actually go up to Red, and before he starts with this body, and he's going to go just very pointedly, knowing that Red doesn't really like him. He stays like 6-7 feet away. Doesn't yell, but has to talk a little louder, and says, do you know why they were after you and Oscar? I don't think they knew we were there. I think we surprised them.
You see, Red is very, exactly like you'd think, hesitant to speak to you, and he just sort of stares at you directly, and then kind of bundles
for the tablet if he wants it.
He actually does not take the tablet. He bundles Oscar closer into him, and he just shakes his head and kind of looks away from you.
All right. The doctor will mumble pointedly loudly enough for Red to hear it, and as he heads back to the body and says, if we wouldn't there, they probably would have got y'all anyway. And heads to the body, and he's gonna kind of gather everyone around, also allowing Red to have a chance to come up just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna talk in a hushed tone and say, alright, I don't really know what to ask this guy except why they were after the dog, but can definitely, he's gonna stay dead, and like raises his hands like, can't do that, but can make him talk.
Before you do that, is there any other question we might ask? Because if that's all we want to know, I would assume Red knows why they were chasing them. And I'm going to make another leap here. It's probably because Oscar is a genius. And I imagine they had something to do with it. This...
Doctor's like nodding. He's like,
did the body have like rank markings?
No, they're distinctly the troopers do not have rank markings.
This is not a high-ranking trooper. They may not know anything.
right.
I'm
Christ,
not.
then we can fix my head.
Or they may have been told.
They may have
also
been told
something else completely.
I'm
No,
not
something
suggesting that you're.
different. And
Yeah.
if Red gives us an answer, and then the trooper gives us a different answer, that could allow us to kind of make connections as to what the higher ups are telling and doing.
Has Elowin shared the information about Professor Grievous or whatever is?
Fuck. The DM's curse of hearing the players call your NPCs something terrible and funny continues into quest.
Oh, I know that pain. Yeah, no, she would have told you guys about that, so yeah.
In which case, Freya would like to say to Red, a man made of metal with living eyes. And look for his response.
Red has been, since the ritual, Red has been less trusting to all of you. But hearing you all talk about this and kind of talking about expending resources essentially for him and Oscar, and he has a slightly better opinion of Frere and Elowin from their time in the reign, but also because neither of them have done anything that he is suspect of comparatively. He would look to Terry for the tablet. He would write into it, I know that man of metal. He is head of a particular research division of the corporation. I didn't expect to see him here. He doesn't usually attend to things personally. He's very dangerous. We call him Mr. Thoreau.
Thoreau?
Thoreau. Yeah.
Sorry, that was making a joke at Astrid.
And I got it after, just late enough to be like, no, it's actually Thoreau.
It's just, definitely seems ready to throw anyone. But
I appreciated it.
I take the tablet back and Terrence is such a prick. Types, did he make you?
Nah, dead set. I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah.
Say the question again.
Did he make you?
To Red?
To Red, did he make you / Oscar? So to the two of them. Yeah.
Red would. You see, Red's face is a face of like a mixture of relief and defeat. And he doesn't even type back. He just nods and then gestures his head to Oscar. He will take it at this point, and your inquisition, but also generally the gentleness of Frere and Elowen maybe is making him a bit more comfortable. And he types in, Hecate charged me with protecting Oscar.
I look at that for a second, and the hand starts to shake, and I hand it to Freya, and I just turn around and walk away into the trees a little bit.
Freya takes it, and there's probably a visible internal debate. I think Freya wears her thoughts on her slave quite a lot. Is not a dissembling person, and then she's witnessed Terrence delete the message and does so, and then closes it. She looks to Red and Oscar and says, "We are your friends here. I won't ask any more, but if important is needing to be told, I hope you will."
And Red is kind of finally sustains some eye contact and just gives you a very quick nod, and then returns to start collecting Oscar and comfortably placing her in his backpack.
I'm gonna go after Terrence. He doesn't seem happy by it, and I'm confused.
Doctor, if you want to do the thing with the body, it may help, but I think we just need to get to Hecate. We could bring the body with us.
Actually, as you turn over to say that, you probably get about 3 words out. And if Astrid was allowing it, his gauntlet is already over Astrid's hand and like shining a purple light.
Yeah.
So for you, Sean, I don't know really what it does. It just says you gently touch a creature, immediately restoring hit points and mending minor wounds. It doesn't have like a number or anything associated to it.
Yeah, I believe
the cost of the spell.
Yeah.
The cast,
yeah,
I think.
The cost of the spell is how much it heals.
Okay, because because I know we're all learning the system. This is a 1 AP spell. I have a 2 AP spell that says you embrace a creature, restoring all of its hit points.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well then in that case, I'd imagine then it just it's intentionally vague. So I would say, I'd say 3 sounds good to me. I'd say let's just go with a third as the rule of thumb there. We'll go with 3 because it's intentionally vague so that we can play how we want it to be, and I think that's fair.
For sure. So yeah, he reaches over with his gauntlet hand, shines purple over Astrid's hand, and then you watch as his gem completely dims.
Let's see. Feels much better.
It's fine.
Okay.
We're gonna need that hand good.
So Elwyn is wandering off to find Terrence. What are the rest of you doing while that's happening?
Frere is sort of rounding everybody up and getting them ready to go, and is sort of trusting Elwyn to sort of get Terrence back and moving because we need to go now. Because Frere is acutely aware they heard the helicopter like 5 minutes ago.
Are we going to need another car? I can go find one.
Can you get the one we already had going?
I thought we did not want to use that one.
I think the only moving vehicle is going to be the only moving vehicle one way or the other.
Not after I tinker with it.
Do you propose to have several? I'd love to try driving one.
I turn around and go find the car that we had before.
Wow, I don't know why I'm getting a lot of judgment here. I can fly a boat. I don't know why I couldn't fly a car.
You do not fly
No trees in this clouds.
You don't fly a boat either.
Oh boy. It would also take longer to rig another car.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm really good at it.
I mean, do you want to?
I mean,
No,
Okay,
you-
yeah.
That's fine.
yeah.
Oh, did you mean that you were gonna go find another car? Because you said I'm just gonna go back to our car.
I did. No, I said we're gonna go back to our car. So
Okay,
go back to
okay,
our
okay. Just checking to make sure you're gonna stick to it. Okay. So, all right. So in that case, Frere is getting everyone ready to go. You are making sure that your car is good to go.
I need to roll for it.
No, you don't. No. But I will say you might at some point have to do some old school siphoning of gas because these are old world cars that are not solar punk
That's a
powered.
problem. I got it.
But yes, but Terrence and Elwyn. So you're a few feet into the forest. I'd say, Elwyn, I don't think it's too hard
staring
to
at a
find.
tree. Like, I'm this far away from just
Oh,
1,000 yards stare into this tree that's 6 inches away from my nose.
I'm just gonna go up to him and like, don't touch him, but just kind of speak out. Just, Terrence,
Yeah,
you okay?
I just need a minute.
Do you know that person that they mentioned?
I mean, kinda nearly almost, but that's not. I'm supposed to be done being a hero. I'm disgraced. I'm supposed to have killed a bunch of people I didn't kill. I'm wanted, for Christ's sakes, and I used to be a cop. Here I am again, putting my ass on the line for somebody else. And I can't for the life of me figure out why.
I think that's just you being a nice and caring person.
I never done that before. I don't like it.
But it sounds like you have done it before. You just never understood why?
Ah, shit. I was gonna say I did it for the money, but we both know that's a lie.
Yeah.
You don't think I like being a hero, do you?
I think that you're very frustrated with what it comes with, but out of all the results, that's the one that you want. You don't want the other one.
This is so complicated. Let's just go save the dog, okay?
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Oh, and Elowen,
Yeah.
thank you. That's what you're supposed to say, right? When somebody does something nice for you?
Yeah. No problem.
Well, then thank you.
You're welcome. And
Yeah.
you may have been a detective before, and detectives work alone, but now you're not alone. So I think it will be easier being a hero with more people.
Yeah, that's weird for me too, but that part I like.
I'm glad.
Okay, we should go. I think that's a helicopter. And all of a sudden he's like really uncomfortable and like sitting, getting up straight and straightening the jacket and yeah.
Yeah.
So would anyone during this time, I imagine some of you might just be keeping a general eye around. So anyone who would be doing that can feel free to give me a D20 roll.
I don't suppose I can look and fix the car.
No, you're preoccupied with the car.
That yeet again, baby.
Yes!
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I love that dice.
I had an 18.
All right, excellent. So I'd say you both hear the same thing, but I'll give Frere just a little bit more. So both of you would hear the helicopter propellers in the distance, the airship propellers. Probably, I'd say both of you can determine that it's probably maybe 500, 600 feet away. Frere, you notice an extra thing. You start to hear a familiar sound in the forest of something hovering about in there. Nope. No. You hear the whimsical, very, very faintly, the whimsical humming of Flicker.
Oh.
You can see Flicker is shooting. You can see just in the distance. You see the vague light of Flicker's red scans shooting around her.
You should leave. Flicker is nearby. I do not trust the robot.
Okay. Does everyone pile into the car?
Hold on. Just kind of like put my boot against the car and just kind of like shove the last piece back into place, and it just like okay, go.
Yeah. This Lego modular car.
That's exactly what it is.
Clearly, the power source just got. Power source was just loose.
God.
No, yes, I'd
Astrid is a
say
master builder. We knew this.
I'd say Frere has said this right as Elowen and Terrence came back. So you all pile into the car, and would you like to speed off or carefully drive away at first and then speed off?
I mean, I'm a speed demon.
Okay.
Okay, sounds like we're going fast.
You hear the car.
Can I use my magic tricks to muffle the sound of the car?
I'd allow a little bit of that. What I'm actually going to ask for is I'm going to ask for a D20 roll from you, and a D20 roll from you, Frere.
Okay. Hey.
Oh no!
I got an 18. I
think she.
You
got
mean
a
just
better
before
roll.
we crash?
No, before it stalls out because it's not a modular Lego
And I
car.
can't fudge it because he's right here.
I see it.
You see it.
So that's a crit fail, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big fat one.
But it was very quiet. It was a very quiet crash.
There's a reason
Yes,
for that.
yes.
It never started.
What?
She cranks the car and it just falls apart like the Lego car. Again.
And her foot just
Yeah,
goes straight
straight
through it.
Turns out she's just built a bunk bed couch.
Yeah, it turns out this isn't a car at all.
This is why it doesn't fly.
I wasn't trying to make it fly.
So this is what I was
Maybe
saying.
you should have.
Man, I was at the least thinking like, oh, I can throw her a difficult choice. It's gonna be interesting. Nope, just a straight
No,
fail.
just a straight
So what happens though, because I'd say Frere's attempts here are what saves you a big headache. So Astrid, it's not your engineering that went wrong.
Good.
It's just say it's your driving that goes
Okay.
wrong.
That's
Your
fair.
license is suspended.
I-
You
my-
are
my-
18-year-old brat in your own
That is-
words.
it actually
So.
was yours first. It was just up.
True. Well, yeah. Astrid is speeding away, but Frere is able to muffle the sounds of it. But as you guys are going, you don't know much about hydroplaning.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How does an engineer not know about hydroplaning?
Well, if you do know, you forgot about it.
I'm driving too fast.
Because of your speed. And there's a point when you do lose control of the car and it does start to spin on the road. And you do see it just wham. The back of the car it spins completely 180 and the back of the car rams into the wreck ruins of an old destroyed truck. Headlights are beaming back the opposite direction of the way you were going.
As in towards
where Flicker is and the helicopter, and the car is stuck right now.
Should I try and kill the lights?
You can kill the lights, yes, but the car, like if you tried to drive it all,
yeah.
the wheel is stuck on something. I will say you did get a decent ways away from that original spot, so you did put some distance between you and Flicker.
Okay.
But the flying machine is definitely a flying machine. I guarantee this is a science fantasy
I'm gonna make
setting.
it fly. Before the end of the stream, that thing's gonna fly.
Is definitely going to catch up at some point. You got so far though that you have entered a different part of the forest, and this is for everyone would start to notice this, is that the trees are sparser here, and are replaced with large ruined structures. You're on the outskirts of what's known as the Spines, which is where there are ruined skyscrapers, and it is essentially the ruins of what would be a near future city, our contemporary time. So you would see that there are more ruined cars here. These cars are definitely not ruined in the fashion of like you can restart them, like rotted away tires, no windows. You can see when some lightning strikes, you can see in the distance like these behemoth scraper towers that are ruined, and you can actually, Astrid, from this distance you can see one that you've been to before, which is the center of the Spines, which is the tallest skyscraper, with another one that has collapsed into it. This area has less forest cover but denser buildings. And you're right on the outskirts of it, though, so you still can see the forest. It hasn't kind of washed away or just turned into the overgrowth. But yes, the car is stuck right now.
Okay. I want to hop out and just say to nobody in particular, somebody come help me lift this, and just try and...
Can I suggest you turn the lights back on and we just run there and point at the city? It seems like it would be a very good distraction.
I don't want to leave my engineering feet behind, but fine. I'll flick the lights back on. Hopefully they still turn on again, because I hit them kind of hard.
Again, this is not a Lego car.
I use kindled. I use kindled. It cost me nothing, so I just light the
I'm sure I
seats
have
on
some.
fire
Oh, my shit.
as well. And you said there's other cars around. I'll see if I can light them up too. I'll just make a big pyre.
Before
on the
you
edge
do
of the
that,
city.
is anyone doing anything else before they start trashing the
Yeah,
place?
Freya goes, yes, we should definitely tell them exactly where we've been.
They're right there. They're following us.
We don't need to make it easier for them.
But it will show us where we've been, not where we are. We're going in there, aren't we?
Yes, let's. And Freya would grab Terrence's hand and drag him in and stop his
All right.
abilities.
All right.
Thought you were a police
He's tried to
officer,
burn
not
everywhere we've been, so.
I thought you were a police
Just following
officer,
protocol.
not a pyrotechnic.
I'll be the last one. I'm just pulling any spare parts off that I can.
Are there
Possible to be both.
Are there any like I don't know if there's like bodies of water, if there ends up being like a river through like this whole place now? 'Cause I'm not too sure.
Puddles.
Deep into puddles.
not that you can see from this current
Gotcha.
position.
Okay.
And like the rain is a little too harsh for you to like listen for water flow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely hop out of the car. Do you want to leave the lights on?
No.
Okay,
No.
so you'll kill the car.
No.
Probably the better choice, but yeah.
And you start to head into the city proper, the spines. Okay.
Where
So-
would
go ahead.
they? So Freya is going to ask Red. I presume you're taking us to Hecate. May I suggest we go in a way that you would normally not?
Red kind of looks at you, confused at first, but then kind of gets the idea and says, and shakes his head vigorously, and he actually like starts to take the lead as you say this to him, and he is leading you deeper into the spines. He does look back to each of you and specifically looks at Astrid and Terrence and just goes. And then one of the few times his voice box speaks, there are worse things than Virian core in this city.
Okay, then I'll say this now instead of later. Freya, can I get my tablet back, please?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Thank you. And I lock it right away.
And
Put it back in my
and then
pocket.
Freya says, "While we're at it, Doctor, do you need me to carry the body? Are we still carrying the body?"
No, the doctor.
It was in the
doctor would
car.
have left the body. Yeah, the
Oh,
doctor
okay.
would have left the body.
Oh, okay, cool. So you see
we arrange it in the driver's seat.
Pull some sunglasses on it.
Nasty crash. Look what happened to our legs. Was a car-related injury, in fairness.
True. It was. I love it. Red starts to lead you deeper into the city, but he kind of directs you to move through the back alleys. And he always seems to go ahead a little bit and tell you to wait, especially when crossing any alleys. And as you get into the city, like Elowen, you could notice like pretty quickly once you're in the proper streets, there does seem to be this like what used to probably be a main street of some kind. And you can see much of the concrete has collapsed in on itself. And you do see there is this rushing rapids in the middle of this Main Street. Main Street is Main River now, as there is like overgrowth. And it seems like the overgrowth stems from this river. There's overgrowth everywhere, but here there's like essentially a river and wetlands that are retaking this whole city.
If we wanted to hide at all, just oh, wait a minute. Because you said to be quiet.
Is it loud?
The river? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
Okay.
loud.
Right.
It's good cover. That's probably why Red led you closer to it.
I like you, Red. If we ever need to go into the water to hide or anything, just know that I can have us be able to breathe. So.
That's useful.
You all would be, I'd say, when you're talking about this, you're kind of gathered waiting for Red, who went just a little bit ahead. When he went ahead, though, he did very specifically take off the backpack with Oscar and give it to Freyr.
Freyr will have put it on. Probably Papoose style.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kangaroo.
I think it's called a papoose.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Loses an action point for that. That
Noted.
pun cost you an action point.
I regret nothing.
But if anyone wants to kind of look around a bit, maybe not journey too far, but keeping an eye out around, can feel free to roll me a roll.
That did not like that.
A 9.
Got a
Times
12.
two.
Freyr is not checking things out. She is guarding the dog.
Okay. I'd say it's fairly difficult to kind of keep an eye out through the storm and the rain, but kind of looking through the streets, I'd say anyone who succeeded there, 11 or higher, would notice very faintly in the distance you would, between strikes of lightning, you would see the faint red light of Flicker's scans. Astrid, with a higher roll, you would kind of look up an alley and see the main street where Red went to look ahead. And you would notice where there is kind of like this burst rock that kind of is the crust around what is the ravine that is the river now. There's these piles of collected from a distance it looks like black sand. It looks, I mean, everything in the no-no-go is a little out of place, but this looks particularly out of place with this pretty untouched city.
Okay. I will describe what I see. Is that what we are looking for? Are we trying to head towards the sand?
No.
Okay.
You're just waiting for Red to come back.
Okay. Well then, in that case, I see sand. Yes.
Those are very dark.
In a city?
Yes, and it was black sand. I do not suppose any of you know what it means. Do I know what that means?
No.
I don't know what it means.
What manner of being is Hecate?
Red's not with you to tell you.
No, but there is only one other person who might know. Freyr is really just wondering aloud, isn't actually asking anybody specifically, so if Terrence doesn't want to, it's no problem.
You leave the pregnant pause hanging there, and it hangs for way too long, and then.
Well, it's not pregnant because we don't know that you know.
Yeah, I know. But there's a pause, and then. Okay,
you,
it goes against everything I was ever taught. You're never supposed to share your notes, but pre-calamity, extraplanar being, all kinds of superpowers, like potentially limitless powers of all kinds. Basically, like, for short form, let's call it a god.
God.
Yeah, that's kind of also why I was a little worried before. I don't like to mess around with things like that. Too big, too big.
What, like a deity?
Yep. Kinda nearly almost.
And for everyone's reference, just because this is a new world for you all,
Yes.
like religion in the world is very like it's not extra to everyday people's experience with gods is not like D&D where you can directly speak to them, get things from them immediately. Magic doesn't come from them necessarily. It can, but it doesn't necessarily come from them. It's very much more like real life where it's a spiritual experience when you are especially most folks believe that in the common belief is that after the calamity, like the gods completely distanced themselves from the material plane because there was no more planes. It was just the world. And that the gods are out there maybe somewhere, maybe hiding in plain sight, and maybe do influence things, but it's very vague and it's very, it's not like, hey, it's Tuesday. Zeus just banished a bunch of people, to hell.
Yeah.
It's very meeting a deity would be a big deal.
Yeah. So that perfect. That's exactly.
But it
how
is.
I intended it.
This
Sort
is
of
an
modern
evolution of a
reference, so,
D&D
yeah.
world. So at
Yeah.
the very least, it is like gods did exist and maybe do exist, but we don't have as many confirming details of them.
Yeah, right. So there's none of this myths and legends. We know gods definitely did exist. Yeah,
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, Freya would go, oh, I thought they were all dead. That would be a useful person to be friends with.
Could definitely help.
Yeah.
Astrid, are you keeping an eye on that sand?
Sorry, scared me. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm right next
I
to you.
know. I have the startled response of an infant. Wisdom is my dumb stat. Yes, I'm looking at the sand.
You see the sand starts to move.
The sand is moving.
And
Is
it
the
looks
sand
like
near us?
it's about, I'd say, so essentially you guys are in a crossroads of buildings at back alleys, and Astrid is peeking around a corner on the right side of you all, while you know that Red went directly across this alley. You're essentially peeking into Main Street from behind a building. So the sand is probably about, I'd say maybe 60 feet away from you.
Is it aggressively moving? Is it like, does it look like it's forming into something?
I'd say it looks like it is like, yeah, it's changing its shape in an intentional way. It's not the wind that's blowing the sand. It's sort of like gyrating almost, like it is thinking of turning into something.
All right.
Would I know what this is? Because I'm
Actually,
from.
give me a roll, because you might actually.
Okay.
Yeah, the
no,
sand, it's
that's
essentially undulating. That's the word I was thinking of.
Is it
It's a
undulating in the
7.
manner that there's a snake underneath it or something like that? Or it is itself moving?
It itself is moving. It's undulating very much like a ferrous liquid would.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a June worm, fortunately. Okay, good.
Yes, no, it's not something is coming up from it. The sand itself is behaving.
I mean, that's arguably worse. It's like,
It's just moving of its own accord.
like a giant
What did
snake
you get,
Freya
Elwyn?
could theoretically kill, but sand...
7.
Yeah, no, it's just spooky sand.
It's just it looks like so
Happy
like it.
October, everybody. It's spooky
Adorable.
season.
I am not inclined to remain near sand that
Should they
moves on
shoot
its
it?
own. I don't think we should do anything to upset it. Let's just move away from it. It's sand. How fast can it move?
Never.
What's its direction compared to
Famous
where
last
Red
words.
is?
Yeah.
So Red went straight. The sand is to the right.
So maybe we go hang out with Red a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, let's move quietly towards red in a... Can we
And
sort
quickly-
of circle around it? Is it moving fast?
Yes, it's
Yes.
not moving fast.
Oh, it's
Okay.
not moving fast.
I mean, it's what I mean by that is it might be moving fast in its own space, but it's not leaving its space.
Right, okay. It's like any
It's almost
movement
think of
from
a-
sand is fast.
Yeah. Think of it like it looks like it does look like a alerted snake in the way that like a rattlesnake might undulate and shake its rattle.
Okay.
That might be a good way to describe its behavior. It looks alert.
because we were close. Like if we, hypothesis, if I like touched a little closer, what does it do with my foot?
Do you do that?
I'm a scientist. I gotta know.
Just because I'm in the room, I'm not just gonna
I know.
share.
I'm not
secrets with you.
expecting you to. Yes, I touch it gently to see if it moves.
How
if it
close?
moves.
How
When you
close-
say touch it gently, what are you touching?
The ground in front of me.
Okay. I
Not
was
the
like, are you
sand.
walking up
no,
to the sand?
I'm not walking up to the sand. No, I'm just seeing if it's proximity based. Like if we were to get closer, would the movement get more?
Oh, I see. Do you do that?
So Freya would, before you do that, say, offer you a small stone to throw.
I give you your stone back and take a gear out of my pocket and throw that instead.
Okay. Are you just sort of gently tossing it or throwing it a lot closer?
No, I'll throw it like if it's here, I'll throw it like over here.
So do you want to? Because like there's about a 30-foot alleyway before it's the actual street. So
Is
are
it
you?
in the alleyway?
No, it's
others.
in the street.
Okay.
That's beyond the alleyway.
All right, so I'll try and aim for it just before the street.
Okay, cool. Yeah, easy enough to do. You toss a gear out. I imagine you kind of tighten up and hide,
Yep.
but keep an eye.
Yep, I'm observing.
So, ping, 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 ping. You see the sand immediately kind of immediately shapes itself, and you can now see, like, as it's moving, like the sand itself is moving in this like it almost like is rotating in a lot of ways. And it almost looks like a swarm of small creatures as it kind of builds itself up into an entity. Though the sand shapes itself into what really there's no specific animal you can call it. It's just a four-legged creature that has kind of a long tail, and then just sort of a like straight up just like triangle face, like almost like a geometric simplistic fox is the best way to put it, or wolf, that is purely functional, that immediately kind of like rushes up and is like investigating this. And the form doesn't solidify into like a smooth surface. The sand is constantly moving and gyrating. You can see like sparks come off every now and then. Anyone who has any kind of understanding of technology would identify this now as a nanite beast, which means that these are all nanobots that are entirely making up. It's not sand. They're nanobots.
Okay. Well, I have an understanding of technology. Run away! Move!
These are
move.
These are the most dangerous things in the entire
Move
Nono
faster!
because they can turn into anything.
Crap.
They can
Really.
get through anywhere.
Yep, and you
including-
can basically
yeah.
not kill them, because if they like just toss off some of their nanobots, they'll
Just make
fly
new
away.
ones.
They'll literally just turn into a bird and fly away, and then build new ones
Yep,
out of
okay.
material.
Oof,
And this is where you start to
what?
notice like these little pieces of like the buildings and the steel that have just sort of been like chewed away, that these nanobots have been feeding on to build more of themselves.
Oh my god!
Wants to go in the water.
I super want to lure Flicker to it.
That's an option.
Whatever we do, we cannot stay here.
Yeah.
We need to move. They know that was stupid. Again, I'm full of stupid choices tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, you're talking to Terrence's back. He's heading towards red already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you guys head in that direction, I do need checks from you all.
Aww.
I'm gonna use my
I'm kind of
big
chill. Well,
dice.
there's nothing to add to it. 16. Watch me roll.
I don't roll. It's just your success or your failure,
Why do you have a dice in front?
in case it attacks you.
Oh.
Okay, so Frere, what'd you get?
11.
Elowen,
18.
Terrence,
Ooh.
Zazix.
Oh no!
Oh,
no!
He's already dead. It's fine.
Just passing the ones.
This is perfect. I've wanted to have a scene with
Oh,
him all night. We get caught
So-
by the nanobots. We're screwed.
Frere, Elowen, and
Astrid.
Astrid, not Scarlet.
Mhm.
You do. Oh, I just disconnected my sound.
Oh
somehow.
no!
What did I do? Unplug it, plug it in. Someone say something?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
Hello.
sorry, folks. Our audio got a little messed up. So what I'm going to say is we're going to take a short break right now
Damn it!
and find out what happens to our heroes when we get back.
Alrighty. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
everybody.
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 Bye, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody, to Ardenquest here on Roll for Damage. Thank you for sticking around with us as we got our technical issues solved. But so our adventuring party has just tried to sneak past an alleyway, where at the end of it in the street was a nanite beast, a swirling, whirling, undulating nanotechnology, sort of a colony of nanobots that turns into monsters.
Yikes.
Two of our party members have not succeeded on their check to sneak by. So what I'll say is, as those who succeed do make their way by, I'll say Zazix and Terrence are unlucky in the sense of their timing. I'm not going to say you fell and tripped into a bunch of garbage and made a loud noise. It's literally just when you step out into the alleyway, you see the head, the triangular, strange, almost dagger-like head turns and looks, and you can see these nanobots open up on the head, and just this beam of light shoots out and exposes each of you as you're staring right at it. You have an instant to react with one thing. What do you do?
Yeah, I got one actually. You got anything, Doc?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I reach into a pocket and pull out a little jeweled box. Looks like a music box, but way smaller. Looks very expensive, like maybe it's teak and gold. I sure hope this works. And I flip it open. This is a needful gift box, a rare item which contains a small wooden box that can produce an object of value. And I flip it open, and please tell me if I've gone too far with this. There's a button inside that says press to generate EMP.
Ooh, I would allow this.
And I press the button just as I'm about to press it. I kind of like this tablet too, but it's going to be screwed. And I push the button.
Only if it's on.
That's true. All right. So I have rolled for the beast just to see how it would do against this, and it did not roll well. So Terrence, tell me what this looks like when you press it.
What I saw was just kind of one of those it's like an invisible shockwave you see with the atomic bombs. It's just that it happens so fast, and as it gets to the thing, it doesn't kill them. I mean, they're the most powerful thing here, but it just kind of knocks every single one of them out as it passes through. So as it goes through, it just loses its corporeal form and turns into just black sand on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And this gives you all just enough time to get away from it, or at least get a head start away from it. As you see this shoots out, and you can see as the shockwave passes through the creature, it all sort of simultaneously just all collapses down. And you can see it's not out. You can see it starting to like trying to put itself back together, but just they're not connecting, and they just fall back down. You do have a moment to run now away.
What's the range on the EMP? Because how close is Flicker?
I would say the range is not super large.
Yeah.
And Flicker is too far away for this to affect. But Flicker is going to have to navigate through an area with an active nanite beast in it, though, now, instead of...
That is true, yeah. Thanks for trying to get me the double credit for that, buddy.
Yeah. Really good idea.
And I just dropped the now sort of perfectly normal looking little almost cardboard box that's left. I just drop it on the ground. The little plastic button falls out and crunches under my foot as we run away. It's gone.
And the interesting thing about the mess that is the nanite beast now is that it doesn't necessarily understand what happened to it 100%, and it is almost going into its own fight or flight response. And you can see, like, as parts of it try to reform itself, and it keeps falling apart. You can see little bits of it can make itself whole, and you can see almost like fluttering out of it. You see these little globules of nanites that and turn into birds that just start to fly away. As this nanite colony is separating itself, going into its emergency protocol to ensure it has somewhere a safe portion of itself somewhere. Mostly you can judge that it thinks you're much more dangerous than you actually are after that.
Yeah, especially now. Yeah, I just I reach around without even thinking, just sort of start herding that one-armed herding thing where you never quite touch them, but start trying to herd the doctor after everybody else.
Yeah.
We should go now. Now we should go.
That is what I've been saying for. Oh, yeah, I'm right there. Did we go ahead?
Yeah, you went ahead, but you guys are close.
We'll be there in a
other.
second. Yeah.
Yeah. You all start to rush through the streets at this point until you eventually notice coming out of a building is Red, who just sees you all running and kind of has this shocked look on his face, and then kind of just looks around and tells you to come this direction.
There was a thing. There was a horrible thing. There was a thing made of black sand. We need to go.
It was not sand.
It's just sand now. It's all good. It's all good. It's kind of pooped itself a little bit. It'll be okay in a minute, but we're going. Oh, right. Shh.
You see her whispering from his voice box. There may be more. Let's go.
How many more of those boxes do you have?
Don't think he has any more.
I don't. No. I got a glitter ball.
Ooh, that would not be good.
I put it back. Yes. Eyes about this big, right? Just like right there. Death was right there. So yeah.
But after this, I would say the Red is able to start to slowly lead you through these buildings and alleyways much more carefully. He does not leave you anymore, and stays with you. And you kind of go, through some back alleyways, through some back patios. You climb up through a few buildings, hop onto the ceiling. That's where you're the most careful. And I'd say when you're on the roof of a few buildings, you do see coming across the sky is the transport vessel that Mr. Throw was in. And you do see these lights aiming down. You do see a few times the lights do like shine across a patch of nanite beast, and you can see they just sort of like, you hear this horrible screeching roar that sounds more like metal on metal as these creatures, these nanite beasts, form and try to jump up, and you can see it just sort of as the ship goes up to avoid the creatures who do kind of like sprout these wings, but they don't, the wings are just, they're not built to actually fly. They're just built to get them up a little bit. And it tries to chomp down on this. Occasionally you see it actually shoots projectiles at the ship. And because of these nanite beasts, they do seem to have to abandon the search for you through the spires. But eventually Red kind of leads you into this outer area where it's more of these burnt out, abandoned residential homes. And eventually he opens this door on a back kind of separation wall, and it opens up and you can see the forest and that familiar wild as opposed to this ruined city. And you feel a sense of safety in what normally you'd think of as an unsafe area. As you enter the forest, and Red starts to lead you through the grove and the patchwork to get to Hecate's home. And you feel a sense of relief. It's not so bad. Last time you were in that city, you fought a mecha holder.
She did.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's not great.
But anyway, You start to move through, and eventually you do kind of. Red looks back to each of you, and he signs to Astrid, signing, "Do you want to rest or go through the night?"
I relay that to the rest of them. Do you want to keep going, or shall we stop?
Freya would check on Oscar.
Oscar has slipped into a sleep. They are still kind of occasionally doing puppy twitches in their sleep, but they don't appear to be in as much pain.
I am good either way. I think Oscar is sleeping. Red, it is, I think, unless anyone has any objections, it is your call. You are the one who know the city.
I'll sign back, but I have a question. Do rests work like they do in D&D, where if we rest, we get action points back?
In the way it works is you get 5 action points back each session, but I'm playing a D&D style where you get 5 action points back for a rest.
Cool. I would like to rest because I have no action points.
Your health does restore also when you rest.
Yeah, I'll sign the response to.
Well, Red can hear.
That's right. I don't need to do that. Yeah,
It's okay. I understand it.
Yeah.
It's Red's preference to use sign language, but
Okay,
he doesn't need you to do it as well.
Yep. That makes sense.
Red kind of looks around and nods his head, and he will sign to you. I do know a safe place to rest, but it may be better for us to get there quicker. For Oscar and Hecate might be able to help restore some of your injuries without a rest, essentially.
I relay that to the team and say, "Let us go."
Let's keep going.
So
Do
you're
not want Flicker to find us, and she was not far behind.
That's true. Yeah, Red would speak through the voice box to respond to Frere. That's true, and the hiding place is not going to hide from those scans.
You hid for weeks or months
Months.
from the Virian core. Then she scanned Oscar, and they were there within hours. Coincidences can happen, but
I do
the
not
robot
think
is
it a
never there when we
coincidence.
need her.
I do not think that is a coincidence.
No.
That's too coincidental.
Red nods and then kind of gestures, rest for a bit, but we need to get moving. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before you head on?
Freya would make sure Elowen is okay.
I want to keep watch out for Flicker, because if Flicker gets near, I can possibly do something about it.
Is there any way, like, knowing how flickers work and with my tinkering expertise, is there any way that I might be able to, like, cobble together, like, some sort of cloaking device?
Not really. The thing about flickers is that not a lot of folks know how they actually work. There's very specific people who have done extensive tinkering with them with their like personal flickers. But flickers are actually, as much as they seem like they're part of this new world, flickers are actually from the pre-calamity time, and they were found and ignited, so to speak. And there's a lot, like most of you are pretty familiar if you were in Lacuna Reef or Corval. Like flickers are like everyday drones in most of the city, but people have their personal flickers, high-ranking officials that sometimes they do their own thing with. Like you remember the professor's flicker was specifically hers. Okay. So you rest up just for a few moments. One might say a short rest, And in that sense, I would like to give everyone 2 action points back.
Yay! Thank you. How many hit points do you get back?
You don't get any hit
Damn
points back. Terrence, I'm going to give you an extra action point for the creativity with the EMP bomb.
Thank you.
Okay. So Red starts to lead you through the brambles. You find yourselves going deeper and deeper into the thicker parts of the forest now. It's starting to reach a point where there's no ruins anymore. Like any ruins that were here have been completely reclaimed by the natural world. And anything you find out here is going to be somewhat... is probably going to be more magical than technological. There is also a distinct taste in the air of... it tastes kind of cinnamony. Astrid, you know that this cinnamon taste means that this area is inundated with magic and that it is unstable magic and that there are potentialities for surges of magic and that the taste of cinnamon is typically a precursor to that if it gets too intense.
Right.
As a
That
wizard,
means-
would I know that?
Yes. Yeah. Anyone who has any magical sense or can cast spells, which I think is everyone, would understand that cinnamon is a bad thing. Unless it's on toast. But this taste means that anytime you cast a spell, you roll a d20. If you crit fail that, there's a wild magic surge.
Great.
Okay. So, Red leads you through the forest, and eventually you start to see the vestiges of the sun rising, and the rain starts to slow down to just a fairly simple trickle. So you don't have to worry about that too much. But you see in the distance a structure. You're entering somewhat of a grove here where there's a clearing in the trees. And you almost feel yourself lighten as you pass through an invisible barrier almost once these trees loosen up. And the smell of cinnamon goes away. The rain is still, the light rain is not hitting you anymore, but you can hear it in the distance. You can notice these little dancing lights throughout of blue and green and purple. They're not like the frightening or wild lights outside. They're more like little fireflies moving around. In the center of this grove, you can see what is essentially a tree that has been magically altered to turn into somewhat of a home. You can see a thick trunk, but then where branches would come off and go in wild directions, they've been druid crafted, one might say, to curve into a circular, almost open garden / patio where the trees turn into archways and twisting beautiful architecture that then swallows up into a larger molded home above this. And you can hear the light music coming from within there. It sounds an awful lot like the music we're hearing right now.
What?
Distinctly not distinctly like a contemporary music that one might hear from a recording. Red would turn back to everyone and kind of hold a hand out and point towards this. And a voice would come out and just say, "Welcome to Hecate's Grove."
C'est magnifique.
And he would start walking towards the treehouse.
It's a weird time to ask this. Is Red armed after all this
Got
time?
that big gun.
Red is a very large gun.
Okay.
And he
whether
kind
to
of
leave my
always
weapons
has kind
behind
of
or
like
not, but
strapped on a strap that hangs at it and
Right,
it hangs
I
by his
remember, yeah.
waist. And you see he just sort of shifts that onto his shoulder and starts walking through. And you see he steps into the grass of this grove and he almost like falls like a foot into it as the grass kind of is fluffed up around. And you can see just sort of like sort of pollen kind of shoots out. And as it dances down back, it glitters like stars.
I sneeze.
I just kind of want to do a belly flop into the grass.
Do it.
I just
Do it.
Yeah.
You leap out
Yeah.
and it
As soon as
shoots
I see
up.
that happen.
And anyone looking would see it looks like the stars and the sky on the night when they're the most clear. It almost looks like a galaxy floating there before it descends.
She's just giggling in the grass.
I pause and kind of look at it all. It's almost too beautiful. And I have to almost force myself to enter the grass. And it's like fingers dragging through at the top. This stunned shot with everything that's going on. There's nothing right now but this amazing feel. But I will follow.
Freya would look at Terence as he's clearly hesitant and would say, "Good things don't happen to you, do they?"
I was always told good things to happen to good people. And they never happened to me, so draw your own conclusions, right?
Maybe what they told you is wrong.
Stop.
Um,
You ever have one of those days where you learn way too many things about yourself?
the day is not over yet, Terence. And Freya flops into the grass next to Elowen.
And you watch as these two galaxies that float there sort of whirl together and almost become one before descending down.
Oh, what the hell? And just fall back and start making like a snow angel in the grass.
You just see these puffs of stars essentially shooting up all over as each of you enjoy this strange, almost mossy grass that shoots up this pollen.
I will try to fix you.
Yes, the record changes to Coldplay.
Oh, wow.
Um,
And then I
have a grumpy
stand
rabbit,
back
I'm
up and
gonna
look
take him
very
away.
pointedly at the doctor. Because I haven't heard what the doctor's doing yet.
in Zazix, I know you had some headphone trouble, so there's this, entered the Grove of Hecate, and it's very surreal, very fey-like, and the grass, or moss-like grass that surrounds it, it shoots up this star-like pollen anytime anyone steps or disturbs it, and Elowen did a belly flop, Frere followed with a belly flop, and Terrence did a little backwards trust fall into it.
I'm sneezing.
And apparently Astrid's allergic to it.
I
I've got
think
bunny
the
fluff floating
doctor,
around. Same.
the doctor definitely like walks through it and kind of like brings his like bony hand through it, but he seems a little distance from the group and like everything they're going through right now, and he just kind of like continues to walk very slowly through the grass, probably in his own thoughts.
Yeah.
Is it possible to grab sparkles? Gather.
It would take a while because they seem to have almost like if you put your hand through them, they move around your hand.
Okay, can I grab a bunch of stalks and pull them
yeah.
out like near the roots? And I
you
want to
go-
walk up. I'll walk up behind the doctor and just biff him in the back of the head with the whole bunch.
After you feel this burst of star-like pollen shoot around you as Astrid is sneezing a fit.
Yeah, the doctor turns around and gives the closest thing to cracking a smile that he could. And then He takes another step and continues in his thoughts.
Yeah, I would say one thing that both of you notice. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, clearly appreciating the gesture.
Yeah. Well, my color that appreciation and appearances that you both would notice as the stalk hit the doctor and the puff of pollen came about. You look at the stalk and it slowly withers. And you notice that the stalks seem to retract from the doctor as he walks through them.
Then, once the doctor noticed this, he would make his way, still slowly. He wasn't like run or anything, but still slowly out of the grass.
Yeah. You easily can catch up with Red, and there's a clear set of stairs that have been druid crafted out of the tree to lead up into this area. So as you all head up through the stairs and into this almost patio area, you would notice that the between the boughs of the tree branches, there's almost like this netting that has been woven all around. And inside, you look above, and this is you see flutters and swarms of moths all about, fluttering amongst the trees. And on the branches, you can see little cocoons of hanging from all around. And it's at this point you see, like, there's in the center of this little area, there is a little table that looks really out of place because it holds technology on it. Well, this is this natural magic. You can see, like, literally a record player there playing this music, and just sort of like these nice, like, nice little like brunch setup that's on this table. You see just sort of like nice silverware, these little wine flute or champagne flutes. It looks like Hecate is setting up for a brunch. And you can notice in the other side of this chamber, you see this probably 6 foot tall woman. She is larger and wearing kind of this beautiful dress that is, has no sleeves, kind of hangs loosely, and the designs on it all look exactly like the beautiful markings of the moths you can see above, as there's almost this cape that flutters off of it that has these same markings. You can see this woman has her hair up in this very tall, messy beehive that has all manner of branch and vine entangled in it, as well as moths that kind of flutter all about it. And it seems to almost, as she takes steps, coming off of the beehive hair is these little flutters of pollen. As you can see, she has this darker skin, very smooth and otherworldly. Her eyes look much larger than they should be on her face, and they have these golden, they're golden irises that contrast well with her darker skin, as she seems to be tending to little cocoons all throughout, as this lovely mellow music plays. You see, Red doesn't interrupt her. He just sort of waits for her, as he then also kind of like gestures for you all to come in.
The dog
Follow his lead and just wait.
Oh, everyone. I'm sorry. You go.
The doctor's just going to find a place like away from as many things as he can be and just kind of wait.
Yeah.
Prayer would be, again, similar to how we very first saw her, like country bumpkin. Beautiful. Just eyes on stalks.
Absolutely. It would take a little while you're waiting there before you would hear this sort of like gentle sigh come from her. Back with guests, Red. And you see she finally looks back to you all, and you see those golden eyes, and they feel like they pierce through you. Come on in. I was just about to eat.
Inside check.
I was gonna say specifically, when she looked at Red, is there any chance I can read this all but supernatural creature's expression? Like, when she said what she said, it sounded to me like partner.
Yeah. I would say, without even a roll, like you can take this as you will. It feels overwhelming. It feels saccharine, kind of incredibly overly sweet. And take that as you would, as your character. Yep. Is that suspicious or not? Yeah,
given what he told me before. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Perfect.
When you say she looked at Red, she looks at the big mountain man with the gun, right?
She does.
Okay. Freya would go to check on Oscar.
You would notice Oscar has settled into a very gentle sleep now. She is not, there doesn't seem to be any kind of sense of disturbance, but she is still sleeping.
Then, yeah, would say, hello, I am Freya, and I believe you know Oscar.
Oh, yes. Gentle creature.
We are concerned for her.
Oh, no.
We think...
And she'll look to Red when you say that.
My friend, the doctor here, tried to help her. We think he may have succeeded, but it was not pleasant for her. She seems to be resting better now, but Red believes you may be able to help.
Of course. You see she now kind of turns completely towards you and walks over with somewhat of a swagger almost. As you can see, the dress flows down her like a waterfall, and you can see some exposed thigh and lower leg. No shoes, just these gentle patters across as she kind of like looks to each of you to analyze you. And she kind of starts with the doctor, and she kind of just gestures a hand in front of him. You're far from home, it would look, much like myself.
He gives a little nod and goes, very. Need to learn a little and return when I can.
Abundance of life, there's always an abundance of death. And she'll turn, keeping eyes on you before settling on Astrid, and looks at the witch hat, and she goes, oh, you've met my sister, haven't you?
My sister. Yes. I like her fashion sense.
And I hope you don't share her attitude. And then turning to Elowen. Sprightly creature. Looks kind of to your whole setup. I enjoy the ingenuity of this.
Here. So,
Look.
read a book. You said that you have a sister. Are you the good witch?
It's been said that way before. I tend to not put it that way. She doesn't like that. But when you are...
I would say she was the bed witch.
I always told her if she didn't like it, she shouldn't wear the hat.
Likes the hat.
But Hella is very theatrical.
She's kind of a bitch.
A little bit of that, too. Her eyes will settle on Frere. You have a gentle heart, but some fire. This is a new world for you.
It is an old world, but it is new for me.
Very old. Her eyes will settle on Terrence. She'll kind of step forward, and as you're kind of recoiling, she'll gently bring a hand to your cheek.
Hi.
And as it doesn't touch, it just hovers, and you maybe feel the thumb over your cheek. It's just incredibly warm. You can relax here. You're safe.
I think I want to stay here forever if I can, please.
Oh, do be careful. Don't rest your head too steadily. You might be lulled into an eternal sleep.
Okay.
And you would see on her beehive, there's a little cocoon that starts to wobble. And you see she immediately, and you see she gently takes it. Come. And she gathers you all around this central table where she just holds it in her hand gently for you all to watch, beckoning you to watch.
Rhea would, but would hold back, would watch just from a slight distance. Not a...
Yeah.
See, no, that's me. That's me.
Yeah. I imagine Eloin's face is right next to the hand. As you can see, it starts to wobble back and forth like a Pokemon egg.
Oh, so we've got to wait another 2 days at least.
See how they use their shoulder muscles to break themselves free. And you can see it starts to split open. As you can see, this little fluffy moth is trying to push itself through. The fluffy antennae at first. As you can see, these antennae flutter out as this head pushes through. And then slowly, this moth squeezes their way through these just curled up wings that they have not been able to, that's going to take them a little while to actually get going. What a strange metamorphosis. They rewrite their entire physiology. There's a little memory there. See? As she holds her hand up and the moth kind of crawls like a caterpillar on the arm. Such a privilege to watch them enter the world for the first time after such a strange change. And you see she steps over and gently places the caterpillar amongst, or the moth, the freshly born moth, amongst the bramble and netting and leaves. And turns back and looks to Red now. And there's a sterner look on her face. She's been so gentle. What happened to our friend? Show her to me.
I get her out.
And you see Hecate comes over and she kind of just holds... She doesn't pick her up or mess with her at all. She just sort of gets real close to her and occasionally hovers her hand over her, but just sort of holds her hand up. Interesting. I expected we'd have more time before the corporation found any foothold in these parts. So far from the core drifts. But it seems I was wrong, Red. It must be dealt with. And what brought these strangers into such a dangerous place? And Red would kind of look to you all to explain.
Yeah. Freya, who is still probably holding the dog, would say, "We were employed by the Willow Accord. They seek to reclaim the No-No-Go. We're an advanced team. Oscar was our contact." And
you would hear...
regrettably, I think it was us that brought the Virian core to her. Inadvertently. We were given a flicker. I believe it to be compromised, or there is something else I do not understand going on.
You see she looks over to Red again. Ooh, Red. I told you not to talk to those old comrades anymore. Out here, they're just as dangerous as the Virian, wanton to their own selfish desires. So far, out on the drift. Red kind of seems to look away in shame. It must be remedied. But perhaps that's why you're here. Not many people believe in fates anymore, and I don't think I do either. But it's a happy thought.
I never cared for it. I prefer the idea that my choices are my own.
Yeah.
Stalwart. Resolve of pioneers. The spark of humanity. Or
I wouldn't go
mortal.
that far.
Mortals. And then you see she very quickly stops the music. But still, those who call these wilds home as much as I admire what the Willow Accord has become, they don't have as strong a grasp on their outer drift worlds. Though their synergy with the wilds has proven successful on the eastern side of the drift, I don't trust their people here. You said you were given a flicker that was compromised.
It is a hypothesis, but the only one that fits so far. If this is true, then I lack for trust there as well.
Perhaps you were sent here to die.
Perhaps, but it seems like a lot of effort to go to when I cannot think of a reason why I had never encountered a member of the Willow Accord before. Or if I had, I did not know of it. I cannot speak for the others, but it seems like an awful lot of effort to go to kill somebody who they've never met.
Well, do you have important people to you, Frere, that are high in power, that are capable of being able to find you? Do you live a dangerous life all the time?
Potentially. And I am open to the idea that I am more important than I know, or that other people close to me are. I just struggle, I just don't know. So if that is what they are doing, they have sent us, or they have gathered a mismatched group of people together to send them on a hopeless mission to have them killed, it seems just unnecessarily complicated.
I think it's because of who we are and how, for the most part, it doesn't seem like we would either be searched for or known about. I'm just someone from underground. Everyone I know is underground.
I
They
doubt
wouldn't
there's
know
many
about
that
me.
would miss us.
But there are those here that live a life to where a death could be expected because of what we do. So we're just people that can get away with it.
Sure. But that explains the how, not the why.
Well, in my experience, ever the mortal seeks to know themselves and to center themselves in the questions they ask, creating questions that ought never to have been asked, that don't have answers. Perhaps you are no one, and it was not that you needed to die, but that someone needed to die.
Unless we were sent here to find Oscar, and then to find you.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think we're strong. Probably would work out expendable people. And they were like, well, 80%, it works. 20%, who cares if they die?
No loss.
Well, in that sense, it must be remedied. Rest here for now. But go. And if you are willing, I think we can finish this task.
There is a metal man. A thorough one. He pursues us. I tell you this because you are our host. I wish I would not have you come to harm because of us.
Much like the demons that plague the city, one might find me difficult to kill, at least wholly.
I am glad.
I've thought I was dead before, but I always find my way back. In some form. But no, what I speak of is if you all, with your power and skills, can infiltrate whatever these Virian core call home in the no-go, I can provide you with something to at least extinguish that flame. But you have to get in. There's very little of my power that can leave this grove. I can give you enough.
Freya puts the helmet back on. I believe I can achieve this.
You see Hecate goes to... In the center of this circle is kind of the bough of the main trunk of the tree, and there's hanging vines and branches from it. And you see she reaches up and sort of drawing from one of these branches what appears to be at first like this sap that comes out of it, but then solidifies into her fingers. She goes up to you, Frere, and she doesn't hand it to you. She holds her hand out for your hand.
There is a pause, and then Freya puts her left hand in.
And you see Hecate places this little bead into the center of your hand and then closes it, wrapping her hands around it. You can feel this warmth rush through your body as her hands wrap over yours. This is a vestige of what once was what one might call my home. It's very powerful, and when planted in the right place, it can also be very destructive. Do you understand?
I think so. What happens to you when it goes off?
Some of these leaves will wilt. Some of this grove will shrink. And I might yet become closer to my sister.
In
May.
temperament?
No. In descending the steps from this lofty home to join you as you are. But to protect these places, creatures like Oscar who did not choose what has happened to them will proudly join you.
I would not presume to tell a deity anything, but it's not that bad a thing to be.
What illusions you see before you of me may appear divine, as divinity has become shrouded in mystery through the years and centuries. But I would not pretend to have such power.
Oh, I apologize. I was misinformed.
It's understandable. Like I said, these illusory images before mortals can often appear, if nothing but absolutely divine.
They are very pleasant.
And this grove would last for a while, and I'd stay and tend to it to keep it living. But its protective bubble, one might say, might not be as visceral. But it does not mean that I cannot do good still afterwards. But if it uproots this toxin, it will have been worth it.
Thank you.
I can put my family to task to find these core for you. Rest for now. And upon awaking, you will know where you must go. just as this little one, which will reach out and pick up that moth, freshly born again, will grow and change and become part of this world. So will I, and so still can you all.
My mother used to say, nothing is beautiful because it lasts forever. I think I finally know what she meant.
But for now, eat, drink, sup. There's time for adventure later.
Cool. I was going to say, I shall be merry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, you there is food and drink presented to you all, and this is a comforting place to rejuvenate before tasks ahead. And you can sleep if you'd like, but this place almost feels boundless in a way that your weariness fades. And I'd say everyone gets their health back and 5 AP.
You say we don't feel like we need to sleep. Can I find paper and the equivalent of a pen? Because my tablet's shot.
Yeah, I'd say there's as much as Hecate is this otherworldly fey creature, there's ample like just normal everyday contemporary things here.
I figured the record player was there, so I write. It takes me a long time staring at a blank page for a very long time. Then I write a quick message, fold it into 3, and just slide it somewhere where I don't think Hecate's going to find it immediately, but fairly soon. And then rest for the night.
Okay. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before we complete this rest and begin the last stage of this journey?
Can you teach me how to grow this grass?
The doctor's gonna go to Hecate when he has a chance, and having been in his thoughts, he doesn't really have the patience or the energy for tact, and he just kind of walks up to her and says, earlier you said you found yourself or felt dead, but you always seem to come back. You know how?
Not certain. I have, from my understanding, died before and will die again, but will also be born again. I don't believe it's the answer you're looking for, but in this strange world, something of us is always there and can be found. Whether it's in flesh, in the wind, or beyond. I've known many forms, and I will continue to change. Even if I lose this spark within that I've given you. All things can be found.
His face reads like not really what I was looking for, but he just looks at her for a second and says, I appreciate you sharing, honestly. Then he starts to walk away slowly unless she stops him.
She would kind of call out as you step away. It seems you know what you're looking for. What exactly is it that you seek in this world?
The power or something that could allow me to garner the power, even if it cost a lot, my life. And he kind of like taps the gem to bring something back as more than a mindless minion. I have people that I owe that to.
Yes. Something like this was once more possible and once more prevalent in the old days of this world. It's harder now to bring things back. It's much more about discovering new things, or like things. And you'll find no matter what you seek, you'll never really bringing anything back, but making something new. And that might be beautiful, but it can also be terrifying. Tread carefully with the paths you wander. And like I said, all things can be found.
He gives it a beat and then nods and says, like, turns back over his shoulder, says, I do still thank you. You didn't have to, but you helped. Then he'll go on his way, stay away from anything alive, and he didn't sleep the night before, but I think in this realm, he actually, like, sleeps, like, shuts down, basically.
Okay. All right. So,
Freya
yes.
would trance, cross-legged in a chair, with Oscar sort of in her lap. She would arrange Oscar so that they could sleep comfortably, and then would, trance in the chair, sort of keeping watch.
And as you all kind of find a place to rest, you notice Hecate puts the music back on and continues tending to the moths throughout the chamber, sort of swaying a little bit with her hips to the music as she's moving about. As you notice, sort of the lights that lit up this space were these wispy little lights. They all dim down for you to rest in comfort. You're able to rest for a while, for as long as you'd like, really. But shortly you would come up, awaken in the late morning. As you awake, you would notice, particularly Frere, to your surprise, because she was resting in your lap throughout the night, Oscar is awake and is sitting on the table where the record player is going. Sort of, you can see her head going like this. Mm-hmm. And you see a little paw just sort of tapping to the beat of it. As you can see Hecate.
CA dog. Looking into the beautiful.
As you see Hecate is kind of like, she's standing and she's so tall, she's sort of bending down. You can see she's feeding Oscar little sweets and treats. And Oscar just looks so relaxed.
I would ask Oscar how she's feeling.
It's still quite painful to think too hard. I may have regretted seeking out these thoughts, but Perhaps it is good to know. I do like knowledge. But, as you can imagine, memories of being pulled apart and put back together are difficult.
I would like to smush your face.
And you can see her ears definitely kind of like go up, and you can see the tongue comes out, the eyes close as you're just, and it's great. And you can hear in the voice box like laughter coming from it.
Sorry. I should have asked first.
It's joyful to be silly.
That it is.
You see Red kind of comes up next to you, Frere, and whoever else is around here, and sort of has this smile on his face that's kind of a relieving sigh. You can see his shoulders have relaxed for the first time since you saw him last night. And he you see he makes eye contact with Hecate, who kind of nods to him. And you see he kind of comes and lifts Oscar up and kind of holds her up in the air and then brings her in for a hug. And you see Hecate looks to you, Frere, and anyone who's coming up at this point and says, the Varian core is after their product that is within the mind of our dear Oscar. Long ago, there was magic that could be used to awaken the minds of any creature, object, thing. They sought to simulate this technology to advance their own means. And there's something in Oscar, not quite technology, not quite magic, not quite biological. It is meant to replace this. If they get her, they will tear her to pieces for it. That cannot happen. She can stay with me for now, and I can give her some safe vestige of protection. But if you're not successful, I have given the last of my abilities to you. So there's somewhat of a foolish hope I'm placing in you all right now.
Oh.
But we have found the location. We do know where to send you. It's a matter of your approach that will determine your success.
Where is it?
It's to the north, past the spines, closer to the silo. An old mega structure. If you can infiltrate this place, plant that podling in the base foundation, and escape, I can do the rest.
What safe distance?
If you clear the general grounds of their headquarters, I'd say make way at least 200, 300 yards away from it.
Well, my suggestion, and I have been giving this some thought, would be they're seeking us. I suggest we let a few of them find us. Then we deal with them, commandeer their uniforms and transport. and utilize that.
I like this plan.
So a trap is in order. We could utilize the fact that Flicker is looking for us as well. The thing is, though, if she sees us, she will call them all.
Is there anything I could maybe like kind of like the box that Terrence used? Can I try and cobble together something that might put Flicker out of commission for a little bit? And get it close enough?
Do you have any kind of abilities that sort of match that? Because we can definitely improvise something around that.
Yeah, I have the bricolage where I can improvise one of 4 useful devices using everyday objects nearby.
You spend a little bit more AP on that. I'd allow for some kind of smaller version of, or similar version of the EMP that Terry employed.
Before I do that, does that sound like something that would be useful? I don't want to waste the resources if I do not have to.
Oh,
It might be. She is very good at searching.
that's the thing. I don't want Flicker to be able to search us because they're going to be able to tell all the new things that we have on us, including what we just got from Hecate. So, what
That's
if...
true.
What if we find them, I could completely put Flicker out of commission by turning it into a bunch of plants. And then maybe they'll send a search party for the last location that they saw Flicker at to see what happened.
If you are concerned
Ambush.
about Flicker knowing what we have, it might be best if you are the one to deal with Flicker. We hide while you deal with Flicker, then we lay a trap when they come for the flowers. And that way Astrid gets to not have to make a bomb.
Terrence has
Wait.
just been all business this morning, and he pipes up at this point. There's a very old saying about putting all your eggs in one basket. Why don't we do the trap at the very least? At the very least, it's a distraction while some of the other of us try and sneak in the back door.
We only have one bomb.
So we have to decide before we start which group is the distraction.
I think so. A distraction would be good, though. It does not need to be all of us. Indeed, it only needs to be me.
Or me.
Why
I'm
you?
kind of good
Or-
at distractions.
Oh, no, I meant I need to be the one that goes in and plants the seed.
Perfect. Then we're in agreement.
If we do that, then there is no need to actually... I can go now. Put the helmet on.
I'll make him look to the left, and then you go in from the right.
And what do we do?
Well,
We just-
you help Terrence or me. Pick one.
I think I would best be going with Freya.
Then I go
I
with
think you should all go with Freya, if I'm being honest here.
The last time we went by ourselves was not successful. I say that we stay in pairs as much as possible. Or groups of 3.
If more than one person is coming with me, then they will need disguises, so we will have to do the whole taking out Flicker thing. But for the actual approach, Terrence's idea might not be a bad idea.
Isn't Freya actually wearing the armor already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my point. So we don't
Mhm.
need to do that step if Freya is wearing the
No.
armor, but Freya would have to go alone.
visually alone. Yeah, the others could
Yeah.
hide in the bushes nearby or something. But yeah, you could walk
Yeah.
right up to the gate.
The doctor is down. The doctor really thinks he needs to go with Freya just because of abilities and being able to heal and etc. etc. Plus some distraction abilities he has planned. But he's willing to like not be beside you because I imagine he also doesn't sound human or anything either. So
If you put him in a suit, though, a full body suit,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Freya also has several. Like Freya is reasonably well suited for intrusion. Like there's with AP to spare. Freya is very good at that. It's not the build, but it could work. I wonder if I can actually disguise one other person. I have splitting image. I would split my image and put it over them. So if the doctor wants to come with me, then the doctor can.
That works.
Seems valid.
Do you need any more people? Is it worth?
I think the fewer that actually go inside, possibly the better.
Fair enough.
And I am reluctant to risk anyone else. Plus 3 distractions are better than 1.
It's true. This is looking an awful lot like the mission in Rogue One.
Yeah.
3 separate distractions.
There's no real need to remember how that ended.
I know.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it's Freya and Zazix on the top of the tower. Not what I would have picked.
So the way I want to address this, because we are running out of time, is that I want to do, everyone gives me their statement of what they're doing. We're going to do this skill challenge style, where everyone's going to say what they're doing. They're going to roll for it. We will resolve any subsequent decisions that need to be made after that, and then we'll kind of narratively twist it together to what happened to give us a nice ending. Is everyone okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Then let's go through everyone one at a time. So essentially, just so you know, because I'm Hecate would be able to kind of, in a way, gift you the visual understanding of the layout of this place through her connections to the forest here. It's essentially a part of the ruins. Oh, we just lost your other camera.
Oh,
Oh no. Do you want me to go fix it?
please.
Yeah, if you want to go run down and fix that, yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm describing this, yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I
I'll
mean,
catch
I
you up when
can.
you get up here.
It'll be faster to fix it. That's the source.
Yeah, it'll take her 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Let's do somebody else first.
yeah, she can go last. Essentially, it's like the city, except it's sort of a ruined town that's around a giant nuclear silo that is ruined as well. And essentially, there are just sort of like the buildings have been fitted to be these just bunkers and outposts where there are these Virian core individuals there. They're not being particularly stealthy about their occupation of this spot because there's not a lot of folks that are really looking for them here, other than Hecate. So you'd very easily be able to find it. At the base of the silo, there is sort of like essentially an old power plant that they've retrofitted as their headquarters space. There are these several kind of bunkered buildings around it that kind of make a U shape with the back of the headquarters to the ruined silo that's large enough to kind of be sort of its own protective space. And then there's 3 or 4 floors to the power station, and then 2 lower levels beneath it. And basically, they are as as armed as the group that came after you here. And it is generally just sort of their outpost for activity out here in the Outer Drift that they've established.
So, Freya's approach would probably be to try and take out and then replace a patrol to penetrate the actual exterior. This might actually also be a good way of securing a second uniform, so the splitting image wouldn't be necessary, because it would require good. So it, like, even just the phone, Shannon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think she just grabbed her phone. I'm like, you could just lock it on.
And so yeah, Freya would get the doctor to assist her with that. There would be several different tricks that she would use. She would use her magic tricks to basically briefly distract, and then come in and signature move, car door to the back of the head, knocking out the guard, and then would be using magical eye. You briefly gain the ability to see beyond physical reality, to find the best way through, and hopefully would be able to see sort of where people are, to not encounter too many people that she has to bluff her way past. Would be the trick. And yeah, would be communicating with the doctor telepathy. So they don't need to be revealing the fact that he's got a rather non-natural voice.
Perfect. Excellent. So essentially, take out a patrol, use that as a cover to get inside, use magical eye to then navigate your way around other enemies. Excellent.
Hey.
Doctor, what are your plans to do to assist in this?
Okay.
All right. The doctor plans to basically help wherever needed. First and foremost, he is going to heal Freya when needed.
Okay.
And other than that, every person that they put down, whether Freya just knocks them out and the doctor has to kill them or vice versa, etc., he's going to make sure they're dead, and then he's going to reanimate them to sow some more chaos.
Love it. Okay. All right.
And just for story purposes, Freya would notice it's not something that he particularly likes to do, but he understands the situation. So.
Excellent.
Could he reanimate them so that we had there was more than just two of us? So it'd be there's four. Yeah,
it's a whole squad. Yeah.
By the time you
get there,
yeah.
I love it.
In which case, probably wouldn't strip the armor, so splitting image would be being used to make the doctor look like one of us.
Excellent. All right. Now we're gonna go through our distractors to find out what their distractions are. I think we're gonna start with Kevin because he's shaking it. He's rubbing his hands like he knows what he wants to do.
There's a die here already ready to roll. Okay, I have 10 action points and blink costs 1. So you said that we kind of had a good overview of the place from our patron.
Mm-hmm.
So do I know if Mr. Thoreau is here?
Yeah, you would all definitely know Mr. Thoreau's here because you would know that his transport is there.
Excellent. So I'm going to hop around a couple times until I find him. And then I'm going to blink directly in front of him. But before I do that last blink, I'm going to take my last little disco ball out of my pocket, give it a full twist. All right, then. And I blink right in front of him and do my very best to shove that thing right in one of his real human eyes.
Oh, boy.
And then the split second it's in, it goes off and I blink away.
Oh, shit.
And if I live through that, I want to blink around the courtyard that he's in, casting 0-point magic strikes just to piss people off and aggravate them. The big move is trying to blow up his head. So the metal bits of him should get screwed up by the mechanical bits should get screwed up by the glitter, I'm hoping. And if there's a brain in there, maybe we can mess that up too.
All right, Elowen, what is your distraction?
All glory to the hip.
What a laugh.
Yeah.
I think I know what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
You are right, because besides how I'm going to actually get those chaos orbs that I still have these chaos ones. But the thing is, though, is that I'm gonna put them in my mouth because I'm gonna turn into an elephant, and I'm gonna throw them with my trunk.
Oh,
So you need to stick them up your nose then.
I'm just
Oh, man.
Oh,
I
you're
love
just
it.
throwing. You're not exhaling them.
no,
Yeah.
I'm just grabbing them from my mouth and like eating them.
I love it.
And Freyr isn't there to watch you, bitch.
No, I forgot to say this. I want to be near one of the entrances that they went into, just
Okay.
in case they need an escape. They can get an elephant ride.
Absolutely.
Or the elephant could get a Freyr ride.
Yeah.
yep.
That's good because you can pick up literally an elephant.
Yeah. That's how the
And-
story ends.
Yeah.
Right.
3-episode callback. I love it.
And Astrid.
Yeah. Okay. So, what am I looking at right now?
So it's a central building that is 4 stories high.
Okay.
Behind it is a big nuclear silo like this. And then there's buildings all around it that are just ruined buildings that have been retrofitted into like bunkers where they're protecting it.
So you'd say that there's lots of bolts and shit that are holding it together.
Yeah, I'd say there are lots of exactly what you're looking for.
Great. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to use 2 action points to start loosening those bolts, creating like
Okay.
this wave of mischief. It's literally of magical mischief is what it says, that loosens things that are fastened or tightened. As walls are starting to come down, I would like to use my 0 action point ability, Scintillate, which I can do as many times as I see a person. Yep, exactly. I'm going to pew 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 with that, and then for the big finale, I'm going to use my 4 action point Bedazzle and summon prismatic bolts that can impale and dazzle enemies. So I'm basically making fireworks out of everybody
Wow.
after bringing the wall down.
And bringing a building down.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, dazzling chaos.
Wow.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I started to write what you guys were each doing, and I like for the Doctor and Freyr, I have sneak in as a patrol, animate dead, heal Freyr if needed, and then for the rest of them, I was like Terry, blinking and destruction, Elowen, chaos elephant, and for Astrid,
yeah.
dazzling chaos. All right, so what I need now from everyone.
Oh god, not the rolls.
It's a really good
Roll.
description of Shannon generally, actually. Dazzling chaos.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
put
mean,
that
you're
thing
not
against the
wrong.
gem. This is gonna work.
All right.
which one do
Going
I
with
use?
the
So this is essentially just to give you guys a heads up for how this is going to work. Primarily, even if you outright fail, it's still going to be a difficult choice. It's just going to be a worse difficult choice.
You're right.
So, let's see it. Go for the rolls.
No shit.
Oh,
Let's start with Kevin.
Mine doesn't say yeet, but it does say 20.
hell yeah!
Second one of the night, one at the start, one at the end.
Nice.
Oh, character art, well rewarded.
Elowen.
I got another 18.
Nice. Freyr.
I got a 10.
Okay. Zazix.
I've been rolling very bad tonight. I got a 6.
No.
Okay.
Pair of difficult choices. Is it okay?
11.
11. Okay.
Perfect 2 people,
So
though, right?
our distractions go
Went
off
off
without a
great.
hit. Inside, there's some difficulty.
Oh no.
So, this is how I'm going to work this out. I'm going to narratively describe what happens, and then I'm going to give you your difficult choices. And despite your victories, you all might have a difficult choice that just results from their difficult choice. So, Zazix and Frere, because of the ingenuity of the plan, the sneak-in works. What you described is good, is a really good plan. So you are able to stop a patrol, you're able to take them out, reanimate 2 of them. The splitting image is working. You find yourselves moving through, and it's very tense as you move through. As you can see, all these guards all around, moving about. You can see kind of the airship up above, the towering silo above, which is daunting. You're able to get in. As you get in, you would start to hear the destruction outside. As your patrol steps inside, you would suddenly hear the racketing and riveting and steel on steel as you can hear one of the buildings start to slowly collapse, all structures around it that are held together collapsing from Astrid's mischievous magic. And then suddenly you would hear the shouting of troopers, as you would also hear the familiar dazzling bolts and other magic shooting out. On the complete opposite side, you would suddenly hear the trumpeting of Eloin's entrance into the camp as this, and you might even get a glimmer to look back as the doors close, as you can see this elephant come charging in, and as it just sort of flings off these chaos balls that just start to bounce about and cause absolute destruction. Similarly, you start to see just sort of the bursts of smoke that are Terrence's blinks, as you hear the shouting and fighting that's happening outside, the dividing and conquering that is happening. But as you get inside, the labyrinth that is this building is starting to become overwhelming as your eye is starting to waver a bit. And as it's wavering, you hear footsteps in the hall as you're running about trying to find, elevator stairs, something to get to the base. And at the end of the hall, you see stepping out from around is a man in a floral jacket.
How's his eyes?
His face is obliterated.
Oh dear.
As Terrence up above, you're able, as he's watching below, and you would essentially blink into the back of the room and you would hear him yelling at his troopers about this. And then getting up to the window, and you see he just hits it with one hand, and you see it shatters entirely. And it's in that instant that you teleport in front of him, and overwhelmed with his own rage, he didn't even notice that you were in the room. You jam that thing in and say your goodbye. What the two of you see is a man whose half of his face is caved in like a crater, parts sparking. He is, even despite my action, he is not well in the way he's walking. He's not walking confidently. He is struggling through these halls. He sees you, and you can see there's just that, like the whole is a mixture of blood, flesh, and mechanical parts, but there's just one working eye that is, the entire eye is covered in blood and bloodshot, burst blood vessels, as that one eye is staring intensely at you all, at the two of you.
May I have a thing.
Absolutely.
I say, sir, we found the dog. And I pull out from my backpack a perfect gift. I burn 4 AP, and I guess I had 8, so I've got a couple left, I think. I splitting imaged for 1, I am magic eyed for 1, but other than that, yeah, everything's been for free. So I pull out a perfect gift, and it is a replica of Oscar, because I figured that's what he wants the most.
Excellent.
You can hear the voices coming out in garbled and mechanically twisted, sort of broken in between as he just sort of slowly pulls himself over through the walls. And you can feel, Freya, you can feel a disturbance in a field around him where magic starts to act funny. That's why your magic eye hasn't been working quite right.
Right.
And you need to focus a lot of your energy into maintaining this Oscar illusion or gift.
I'm happy to give it 6 because that's what I've got.
I'm going to say it's going to cost you it all to keep it up enough for him to believe you.
Yeah.
He comes up and you see he reaches out and grabs for faux Oscar.
Yeah.
Give me the dog.
I do.
Get out there and do what we pay you for.
I gesture for all of the for me and Zazix to turn around with our corpses and go. We get about 30 feet away and it explodes. Because it's not a
perfect gift.
It's not a perfect gift for me. It's not a perfect gift for him. It's a perfect gift for me, which is a replica of Oscar that's actually a bomb.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Amazing.
This is where your difficult choice is going to come into play.
There.
This explosion. You either this explosion will be destructive enough to kill him, but you and the doctor will be trapped in the debris in the building. Or it's not enough to kill him. It will wound him and keep him at bay for a bit. But you'll have less time to get to what you need to do and to get out.
Oh. I'm okay with the taking this guy out plan. I would, however, confer with Waffles if I'm okay to do that.
And this is where Waffles, your difficult choice is going to come into play. You can choose to survive in this form, but you have to leave Frere behind if she chooses to do this way. Your other choice, so you either leave Frere behind and survive, or you stay with Frere and it assures the mission will succeed.
Yeah, I'd stay with Frere.
Okay.
I don't want to influence Frere's choice, but I would stay with Frere.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm all up for making this work. Given what Hecate said about lives and people coming back, Freya would be very okay with that bomb going off and killing the dude.
Okay. So outside, your distractions are working, and you're sowing so much chaos. But you all have a clear vision of the building. You would hear a loud kaboom. The two of you inside, you would have enough time to at least not be damaged by the explosion. But you see, as he sort of is hobbling away, and he looks back, and you see he even says he's about to say, "You two with me," to the two of you. But as he turns to look, and you can kind of just see that mangled face, it just sort of, you see the simulacrum of Oscar just sort of and, and there's this massive explosion, and just sort of, and it breaks down, and you can feel the building shake. Those outside can start to see parts of the building are unstable, but it's still there, and inside you can feel the floor above you collapse down on you and break, so that it just sort of starts to collapse into the lower levels. Outside, you can see the troopers starting to regroup. You've given them enough time to do something, and you're staring and you're waiting. Frere and the doctor, you can proceed uninterrupted. You have clear passage to complete the mission.
Freya is not looking to, once done, not looking to leave, but is looking to get to the helipad. Would be Freya's exit strategy.
Okay. Excellent. And I think what I'll say is one last roll.
Oh, don't you love it?
Yeet.
Yes.
Opposite of you. Really?
No, no, for real.
Yay! Wow.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh, good.
So, time feels to slow for all of you as you're waiting with bated breath for your companions to return. There's just this quietness as you all find a secure place, your distractions having worked. Elowen, you're kind of, I imagine you're still like kind of raging through them. With the elephant.
Chaos elephant!
I'm still an elephant. I'm still, where are my friends?
And I'm imagining, actually, I imagine the three of you probably collect together kind of to fight off what you can as you start to try to look for your friends to escape. And you start to notice they're not escaping. And you have to decide to leave them behind. And you start to make way to the safe distance. And suddenly you would all feel a tremor in the ground. And you would see these lights arcing slowly, and they burn through the building. They look like tree branches themselves in the color and brightness of lightning that shoots through the walls and comes crawling up like splintering roots all throughout. And in that moment, you could just sort of see a transport vessel escaping. And in your minds, you're like, fucking Thoreau got away. As you see all of these sort of branches all reach up and they reach their zenith and then all collapse down and wipe around, and it just sort of obliterates all structure in this area before the light sort of grows blinding and then settles. You can see where it had formed those branches and vines is now erupting from the silo, a lovely tree that descends these little stars, much like the pollen that you saw in Hecate's manor estate. You have wiped out the Virian core within the no-go. Just barely.
Hey, but we did it.
Zaxix and Frere have survived. So, as we listen to the smooth tunes of Hecate as you escape and rejoin together, I'd like us to say very quick goodbyes because Josh has to go in the next 2 seconds. And give me a one-sentence kind of epilogue for your character. So, let's start with reverse order with Waffles. And also say who you are and where to find you real quick.
For sure. I'm Waffles from Wafflesmaplesyrup. You can find us at Wafflesmaplesyrup, one word everywhere. We stream Starfinder every Tuesday at 8 Eastern. And like I said last time, keep an eye on our Twitter for a very hype announcement Monday. As far as the epilogue goes, I want to stay true to my hard choice, saying I was definitely going to die in that form. So I think I imagine that we did get like slightly trapped in some debris. There's a lot of heals that had to burst out, and basically just over the course of the 5-minute escape to the helipad, the doctor spent himself. And so eventually, being back with everyone and getting to say one final goodbye, he would turn to dust and leave his gem behind for all of them.
Yeah. Freya would have carried him out.
Excellent. Astrid.
How do I follow that?
Astrid.
How did you die, Astrid?
Yeah. She's indestructible, okay?
Emotionally.
No, yeah, emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I imagine she is going to go back to her loving family and finish that frickin' birthday
toy.
present that she was working on for her little brother. But she's never going to give up her dream of becoming a space pirate. So there's that. And I'm Shannon. I'm from Paradise RPG with this goober. We're turning 2 on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's our 2nd birthday and it's our 100th episode. So we would love to have you come celebrate. We are having a big giveaway and it's gonna be so much fun. So love to see you there.
Thank you, Shannon. Terrence.
Oh, I am Kevin, Dirty 20 Gaming, and the letter that he left at Hecate says, I meant what I said. I want to come back and spend the rest of your life writing down everything you can remember about before the calamity. And after the goodbyes get said, he reaches up and burns his last action point to cast Gate and go back to the Grove.
Excellent. Frere.
Hi everybody, I'm Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on Roll for Damage, where I DM the Humblewood on Monday nights, and over on my own channel, Corsairs Cove, twitch.tv/Corsairs Cove, where you can find me DMing more Humblewood on Thursday nights. I DM a lot. I'm a Perth-based actor and creative. You can also find my vocal stylings on the podcast There Be Dragons, and you can find me performing in Paparotica in Fringe World if you are Perth-based. And yeah, I've been Freya this evening, and Freya now has like a small ship. So Freya would have gotten back, would have gone straight over to Elephant Lewin, and picked her up, and then to the face, and probably would have wound up being a space pirate. With Astrid.
The fuck! Oh,
Like-
all right. At
like-
the same
would've-
time,
Would have said to would have gone to Astrid, hey, I have a ship, and I want to go looking for my home, but I'm gonna need a mechanic, and maybe someone who can drive when I'm not.
I get to be captain, and it's a deal.
Joint.
Fine,
Co-captain.
co-captain.
And but she would also say, Elwyn can come too if she likes.
It's a good transition to Elowin.
Yeah.
She's an elephant for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Chaos elephant.
Chaos Elephant. Hi, I'm Kelsey, and I've been playing Eloin here. I'm also Roguzu on Twitter and on YouTube, where I draw things and I talk about the first time that I ever DM'd. And Eloin, well, you know, her whole dream is that she wanted to live somewhere under the stars. And now she has friends. And you know what? Spaceship, you're always under the stars.
Spaceship!
Spaceship! Spaceship! So, you know what? She doesn't know what a space pirate is, but if it's under the stars, she's in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Oh, crew!
So ends our adventure. As you all arrive together, you say your goodbyes to the doctor, who with a bony smile turns to Ash, knowing, as Waffle said in chat, all good things are born anew. And with that sacrifice, you join together. Terrence makes his exit, lives out his days with Hecate in the grove, tending to the moths and learning her stories. The rest of you usher out into the cloud seas and even further into the stars to find some new adventure and new places. And that is where we're ending this lovely 3-shot, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. I have been Sean of Paradise. You can find me over there, like everything Shannon said. But thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And hope you have a lovely evening wherever you are in the world. But we got to get going because Josh has got to go.
I have to go to a wedding, I'm afraid. So, guys, thank you so much for coming, and for coming an hour early as well. It was a real, means a lot to me. And thank you, everybody, for playing, because you also didn't have to do this an hour early. So I'm really grateful. I'm glad I got to stay for the end. Sean, amazing work. We will go on a raid now. Does anybody have any
Space raid.
suggestions for Space Raid?
Space Rock.
Looks like Agents.
Everybody
Agents
was amazing,
playing.
but Sean, wow. What a world you spun. I mean, it's not just this game. I get it now. This whole world is this complete, and it is stunning. Thank you for
Thank you very much.
the pleasure of getting to play in it.
I had a couple of favorite moments I wrote down while I'm finding the agent.
Yeah, folks, you can jump into the Roll for Damage Discord to throw your favorite moments into there.
Yeah,
you can hear
absolutely. I had it was two from the same scene. You have to do it before you have. No, Elowin, thank you. I have no idea. It was an Elowin moment. You have to do it. You have done it before. You just didn't know why.
being
a good person.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then Terrence's response, Elowin, thank you. That's what you say when someone does something nice for you, right?
Beautiful stuff.
Alrighty, we are going to raid Sci-Fry. That'll do.
Excellent.
They are playing D&D. Seems an appropriate people to play raid. So chuck your favorite raider modes up in chat. Tell them where you came from, and we will see you guys next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.